Hello friends, this is Agnes. Today's video is a viewer's request on making typography of a name. In today's video, I will be showing you the simplest way to fill in the typography, though there are so many other ways to do it. So to start with, let me show how I usually make or prepare my font. I usually use Windows Microsoft for doing this part. I used to select word art where I type the words that I want, and then I select the font. I usually go for Arial or Times New Roman because they don't have any copyright issues or something like that. And if you want to try some other font, and if you are going to sell your art, then make sure that the font is bought by you or it is copyright free to use. Many fonts are for commercial use where you need to pay for the font and you can use it for n number of times after your purchase, so make sure that you don't get into trouble with any of these things. After I finish this, I usually take a bit of transparent paper and then trace down the word onto the paper. It is so simple to do. You can even use your tab to make the font instead of a laptop and then trace it down. And the next, I make my paper strips. The size I will be using in this project is 3 mm because I'm going to use the fillers with the pre-cut strips, and the most I have is 3 mm, so I'm going with it. You can go with other sizes like 5 mm or 10 mm, which will be even more pleasing to the eyes, but for this project I'm just going to show you with 3 mm. Then to transfer the image, I first align my background paper, which is about 300 GSM, using a masking tape, and then put the traced paper above it, and I also make sure that I center the word. Then using a embossing tool, which I also get with my quilling tool, I just trace them. Keeping it on the cutting mat helps the embossing much easier. If you don't have a cutting mat, you can probably use a foam sheet under the background paper, so the sponge like effect underneath the paper helps the embossing to be more clearer. Here you can see the embossed surface. With the white paper, I will be just making marks along the corners of the words using a pencil, a light pencil mark, so that it can help me guide to know where I should bend the letters. So after it is done, I'm just taking my paper and dabbing it lightly over some glue, and I dab off the excess away, and then I paste it over the embossed surface. Sometimes I use a ruler to make it even more straighter, and then I continue with the other shapes that I have made so far. Letter A is really easy as it has only straight lines. Here you can see the corner is not straight, so make it straight using a cut, and this will make our work look even more neater, and it is easy to get stuck with the other joints. For the inner part of N, I'm going to use a brush, wiggle it up and down so that I get a smooth crease in the inside, and it should be approximately the size of the letter we want. And then I cut the excess from the corners and going to glue it. The upper part of N has a wide curve, so it doesn't need any other taming, but you can just bend it with the help of your hands and fingers. If you have any glue marks around the letters, wipe it right away using a dry brush. For the letter S, I just use my fingers to curve, and also the smaller part of the letter S needs some bending using some other object like a paintbrush, and then glue it carefully so that it fits the inner part of the letter S. And then the same way you can do the outer side of the S. Letter H is much similar to the letter N. After they are done, I am going to use beehive technique to fill in the spaces. I just use only two colors that match and which also has a higher contrast, so it looks lovely. For the beehive technique, I usually use a ruler to find the exact distance. I just roll a quilling paper round the ruler so that I can get small markings on which I will be working. So these kinks are the reference points for making our beehive. Put in the slotted tool into the first kink and roll the paper in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. You should follow the same pattern. So when you finish rolling the first kink, you can take out the slotted tool and go on with the next kink and then roll in the same direction as done previously. So in this way you can make beehives, and these beehives are really easy to fill in spaces. You can just put some glue in the back side of it and glue it as shown in the video. Hope you like this video and hope you will be trying some of the typography using this technique. In future, I wish I could do some other video with different fillings for typography. If you have any more suggestions or if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to text me in the comments below. I will be really glad to answer you. Thanks for watching.